Hello everyone, my name is Sir Spooks. Not really. My name is Kara. Sir Spooks is a channel that I love to watch. One of my favorite paranormal type channels. There's that, Slapped Ham, and Nuke's Top 5. There's also Chills, but Chills is a little iffy because sometimes he posts things that are like so blatantly fake, but he still posts it and puts it in his videos, but still entertaining. Anyways, today's topic, we are going to be talking about Pokemon Go, specifically the battle option on that game. So everyone in my family plays Pokemon Go. I do, Jeff does, the boys do, and we all play it together. We'll go for walks to hit Pokestops. I remember when it was huge when it first came out, like back in like 2016, 2017 maybe. And I can literally remember walking down the street and seeing people like glued to their phone, like playing and everything like that. And I did not know nearly as much as I know now then. I played a little bit then, but it was so difficult because when you first started playing, it was just the crappiest of the crap for Pokemon. I mean, it was like constantly catching like Rattatas, Pidgeys, Spearows, like the basic of the basic Pokemon, which are like not common anymore. So like now when they show up, I kind of get a little excited. But now you get so many different Pokemon, and so it's much more interesting. You can trade with other people. You can get lucky Pokemons from trading. You can get shinies. Shinies are probably the most exciting thing. Almost every single time you get a shiny, it's guaranteed to be a really crappy like appraisal. But occasionally you can get a real like a 3-star one. But regardless, I'm going to talk about the battle. Now, Pokemon Go has a battle option, which is fairly new, and you go onto it and you battle any other person that is in the battle mode at that time, and you battle using 3 Pokemon. Now, anybody watching this, I'm assuming you're watching this because you play Pokemon Go, so you know the gist of how it goes, but certain Pokemon are super effective to other Pokemon, and vice versa. Some Pokemon are really weak to other Pokemon. So, say if I'm using a fairy Pokemon and somebody is using a fighting type Pokemon, I'm going to kick that Pokemon's butt because fighting is really weak to fairy. And a lot of it makes sense, like just common knowledge, like common sense. If you're using a water type Pokemon and they're using a fire type, the water type's going to be stronger. If you're using an ice type Pokemon against fire, the fire is going to be stronger because fire melts ice like that. So there are some that don't make a whole lot of sense. Like I don't know every single type and every single type that is effective and not effective. So I'm just using an example, but I may actually be completely wrong with it. But say you're using a steel type Pokemon, you would think that electric would be effective against it, but I don't think it is. I don't think that's steel. I think it doesn't really, I mean, it does damage, but not like a ton. And when you're battling, if you're using a Pokemon that is super effective, it will show up on the other team saying super effective, and then on theirs it might say super effective as well, or not very effective, or it might not say anything because it's not either. It does damage, but it's not super effective, but it's not very effective. My problem is cheaters, and there are so many of them. I have no idea how Niantic allows it. I mean, I know that they're constantly cracking down on cheaters, but like I run into people that cheat almost just as often as I run into people that don't. And I'm not like doing this because I'm a sore loser. I am a little bit of a sore loser. I hate losing. I get really pissed off when I lose, but generally if I lose because it makes sense, I just normally get pissed off and like, what the heck, like, why did I lose, that was ridiculous kind of thing. But it's understandable. My team of Pokemon that I was using just wasn't, maybe their team was super effective against every single one of mine. Sometimes every one of my Pokemon that I'm using, they just have one Pokemon that just kicks my Pokemon's butt. And it's happened with me before that I've used one Pokemon and taken out the entire team. It happens. But then there are times when it does not add up. So there could be a lot of things at play when this happens. So it could be my internet is running slow, which it does. Which, by the way, anybody that has the option for which internet/cable provider you're going to use, don't use Spectrum. They're a-holes. I hear that they're really, really, really good with, like, if somebody goes to complain and then shut off their service, they will do whatever they can to keep you as a customer. But I live in a town or a city where I don't have that option. The cable provider that we have is strictly for this town. We cannot use any other cable provider unless it's going to satellite. And it's frustrating. Xfinity, they're jerks too. Like, they just want to get paid. They don't give a crap if they lose customers, but their service is actually good. I mean, you get good internet and you get good cable through them. Spectrum is just, I mean, I live in a tiny friggin' apartment, and my internet doesn't work very well for us in our bedroom, in the living room, and it is literally like 15 feet away. Like, it's not that far, and we get a crappy signal. It should not, and apparently we have the highest that you can get. Come on now. Anyways, I know that sometimes it can be my internet, and you'll notice a Pokeball swirling if it's lagging in any way. And there's two different spots. There's one on the top and there's one on the bottom. I don't know which one is which. I believe the one on the top means it's mine. I believe that's true, because when the one on the top is doing that, that's when I tend to have issues. But I have had it so the one on the bottom is swirling, which means it's on their end, and it affects me only, not them. So when that happens, my game has basically frozen. It's still kind of going, but my Pokemon's just kind of standing there, not attacking, and then it will pick up again, and all of a sudden my Pokemon has been taken out and I didn't do anything. It will happen more often when there's a charged attack, and I will go to use a shield and it will freeze, and then the next thing I know, they hit me and I didn't actually use my shield. So they either took out a big chunk of my health or they took me out completely. And that's what is frustrating. I don't understand how they can be lagging on their end, but it's only affecting me. They're still attacking me. No problem. And when that happens, by the way, when that happens on my end, when I'm still perfectly fine and they're not moving, I generally chalk it up to they're lagging. And you know what I do? I stop. I don't attack anymore. I will pause and I will wait for theirs to come back, and then when they start attacking me, I'll go back in and start attacking them again. I did that one time actually to a guy. I assume it was a guy because his avatar person was a guy. And I was attacking, and then I noticed he wasn't hitting me, so I stopped and I waited. It probably took like about 10 seconds for him to come back, and then he started attacking me and went back again. Then mine started lagging on my end, and you know what that mofo did? He kept attacking me. He took me out while my game was frozen. And they know, because your Pokemon's not attacking, they know that it's lagging. But he kept doing it. So I was like, really? I gave you that courtesy, but you couldn't, like, reciprocate it? Like, people are just super greedy. Anyways, that's not even, like, that's just the minimum. There have been times, and it's not just me, it's not just what I notice. I have talked to other people. We have, like, Discord messages that we talk to people, and we've talked to these people. They live in our area. We've met up with them before, and they've told us issues that they've had with playing in the battle mode with these kind of things happening. And another thing that happens is this is where it gets really, really annoying. Okay, you can switch your Pokemon. So if you have your starting Pokemon, say I'm using a Raichu and they're using a Skarmory, they're going to switch their Skarmory out immediately because my Raichu is super effective against the Skarmory. Okay? And they come out with a Pokemon that my Raichu's doing okay against, but I notice that they're doing a little bit better. So I go to switch mine out, and as soon as I switch mine and it's super effective against whatever they have, they immediately switch back to the Skarmory. I can't switch because when you switch, you have this time on the bottom right hand corner that goes that means you can't switch your Pokemon until that time is up. You have to use that Pokemon during that time. But this is the thing that I've noticed is I don't wait very long before I switch my Pokemon. It's like almost instantly. Like I'll maybe hit a couple of times and then I'll switch. And once I switch, I maybe get a couple of hits in before they switch again. Now, I've played enough to get the general idea of how long this time lasts. And this has happened so many times. I've had people like literally switching, just boom, 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 boom. They switch a Pokemon, and then I switch my Pokemon, and then they switch back. And it's like, how did you you didn't even wait at all. There was like no limit. It's like people are able to like almost like hack it so that they don't have that time limit there. They can just switch their Pokemon whenever the hell they want to. So that's another thing that really bothers me is when I notice that they're switching way faster than they should be. I don't know if they somehow hack it so that there is no limit or if the limit is shortened, because I notice that sometimes they will sit there and fight battle for a little bit, but they do end up ultimately switching. But still I notice when I'm timing it based on mine, and like I can understand, like when they switch, I think of, okay, how long was it when I switched? Okay, it was like almost immediately after them, so I should be, ready to switch soon. And I look, and I'm not even halfway through my time. It's like, well, how were they able to switch? I didn't wait that long before I switched my Pokemon, and it drives me crazy. And there's another one that happens with the shields. You have shields where you can block a charged attack. You get 2 in every move, and you have to use strategy on using those shields, and a lot of it is guessing, because when you're being hit with a charged attack from a Pokemon, a lot of it is, okay, it's a plant Pokemon, the chances are it's going to be some kind of a plant move. But like I have a Raichu that has a thunder charge attack, an electric charge attack, an electric, but it also has a fighting type move. It has Brick Break, so I can use my electric move, and then the person blocks it, and then they're like, okay, well, I'm not really weak to electric, so I'm going to leave my shield off for the next one, but then I hit them with the fighting one, and it may or may not be super effective. It may do more damage, and then they're like, oh, crap, like, I shouldn't have done that. But that's kind of like the strategy of playing. It's guessing. You have to guess what that person has, or you can use the shield to see what they have, but then you also have that possibility that they're going to hit you with something different because they spent candies and stardust to be able to get a second charged attack move. So that can happen. But there have been times where I do a lot of shield baiting when I play my Pokemon game, and that is using a Pokemon that has a very, very quick attack. I get it like boom, 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 like 3 hits, and I have my charge attack. Generally, those ones don't do that much damage because you get them so quickly. And I do that so that I try and get them to use their shields sooner. Now, I have had people use their shields, and I know they use their shields, and then I'm finally like, alright, finally, I'm going to hit them with my charge attack. This is going to do them in. And somehow they use another shield. And this has not happened to just me. I have literally been sitting here when Jeff's playing and heard him like what the, like, how did they get another shield? They just use a third shield. Like, what the heck? It's happened. It's happened to my kids before. Like, I don't know how people do this. This one's not a very common one. This one seems to be like kind of like higher up in like the hackers, like elite hackers, because this one doesn't pop up as much, but it has come up. And this is one that we've talked about too with other people that we that play Pokemon in our community. It has happened to them as well. It does happen, but it's not nearly as common as these other ones where they're switching Pokemon like way faster than they should. Now the other one is there are charge attacks, which I just touched on a little bit just now, and you have a fast attack and a charge attack. Your fast attack is what you're hitting with them. You're hitting them with trying to fill up your charge attack. So every time you hit with a fast attack, it gives you a little bit of energy into your charge attack, and then you can hit the charge attack and that attacks them. And it gives them like 3 seconds to choose whether or not to use a shield. It'll go down 3, 2, 1. You can use a shield, or you can cancel, or you can just not do anything and you just won't use a shield. If you don't have any shields, it still will kind of count down 3, 2, 1 and then hit you. It'll just say no shields remaining. And oh my gosh, where was I going with this? Oh, okay. So when you play Pokemon Go, you have a general idea of moves, and there's this whole thing behind Pokemon Go that it's going to be hard to kind of explain it just really shortly. But there are certain charged attacks that attack really, really, really quickly. So you fill up your energy bar for your charge attack much faster than a fast attack that hits a little bit slower but potentially does a lot more damage. So it takes a couple more hits with your fast attack to fill up your charge attack. Now, there are 2 types of charge attacks. Well, 3 types. There are really, really, really fast ones that, like I said, like take 2, 3 hits and you've got it filled up, you can attack. I have used Pokemon that have really, really fast ones where I will sit there and I'll just attack, and in the time that they use their charge attack against me, I have filled up my charge attack meter 2 to 3 times, maybe even 2.5 times, up to 3 times. You can fill it up to 3, and then it won't fill up anymore. You have to use them. And in just that amount of time of them trying to fill up theirs, I've filled mine up 3 times. So I can hit my charge attack, go to attack them, it goes through, they use their shield, they don't use their shield, and then it goes back to doing the fast attack, and I hit my charge attack again and immediately go to hit them again. Now, there are other attacks that take longer to fill up. They take more energy to fill up, but they do more damage. So I think the highest I've seen a charge attack do, I think, is 140. I believe I might have seen a 180, but I don't know if that had a weather bonus to it or not. Or I think 140 to 150 is the highest that I've seen one charge attack do. And the way that it shows you how it is it has bars. So for really fast attacks, it will have 3 little bars. So it shows you that it's a short attack. To fill up that 1 bar isn't going to take you very much. So it has 3 bars to show you this fills up really, really quickly. And generally those do damage anywhere in between 10 to 70 damage. If you have a charge attack that is very, very short and it does up to like 70 damage, that's a good attack. And then there's one where they'll have 2 bars, but they'll be a little bit longer. That shows you that it's kind of like in the medium range. It's going to take you a little bit longer to fill it up, but it's still fairly quick. And then they have one that's just 1 long bar, and that means that it's going to take a long time to fill that bar up. Now, the medium bars, those ones are generally in the 70 range, like 50 to, I'd say up to 100. I think there are some attacks that are like 2 medium-sized bars that can do 100 damage. And then there are the 1 long bars. Those ones are generally at least 70, and then they go all the way up to like 140. So even if something's not super effective against that Pokemon and you use one of those huge attacks, it's still going to take a decent chunk out because it's doing that much damage. Now, there are certain moves that I know what, like Earthquake. Earthquake is one of the long ones. It takes a while for people to fill that one up. Stone Edge is another one that takes a while for people to fill that up. Now, when you're battling in gyms, you have your gym battle attacks, and it shows you what that is, and it will have a fast attack being 1, 2, 3. And then you click next to it, trainer battles, and it moves over and shows you the trainer battles. You have that 1, 2, 3 attack, it changes to just 2 bars. So in trainer battles, it always takes a little bit longer for you to get your attacks than it does in gym battles. So with that little bit of knowledge that I just gave you, I just spent like 5 minutes explaining that to you. People that are hitting me with something like Stone Edge or Earthquake or Hyper Beam, things like that, I know Hyper Beam I think does 150 actually. I know take a very long time. And even if they do have an attack, a fast attack that's really, really, really quick and it's building it up faster, it's still going to take quite a few hits for them to fill up enough energy to do their charge attack. This is what gets me. I have fought against people where they hit me with something like Stone Edge or Earthquake or Hyper Beam or something like that. And I'm thinking, okay, I used a shield. It was my last shield, but they just hit me with that attack. I'm good. I still have, I can hit them like at least 2 times, possibly 3 before they get their attack against me again. Depending on what Pokemon I have. If I have my Raichu, I most likely will get multiple attacks in before they hit me. Now, I will go to attack them. I'm filling up my charge attack, which only takes a couple of hits. And before I even get to do that, they're attacking me again with the same thing. When that happens, I'm thinking, oh, they have a second move, something that doesn't take as much energy to fill up. But nope, I get hit with Earthquake or Stone Edge or something like that, and I'm sitting here thinking, how the hell were they able to fill that up? And then I think, okay, maybe, they sat there attacking for a while, so maybe they filled it up and then they saved it and just kept attacking, so they filled it up halfway again. Okay, maybe they did that. But no, it happens again. 2, 3 hits and they have their attack again. That does not make sense. It does not make sense. I don't understand how. I mean, I have a Wish Cache that has Blizzard, which is one of the long attacks, and I get it pretty quickly because I have a fast attack, but it still takes me about double the amount of time as it does for somebody who gets Mud Bomb. So it doesn't make any sense. Now, there's a whole other science to Pokemon Go that I could go through where there's different levels of Pokemon. You have their CP, which basically tells you the level that your Pokemon is, and there's different leagues. There's Great League, Ultra League, and Master League for the trainer battles. Right now it's just Great League. That's what everybody is fighting in. And you can use Pokemon up to 1500 CP in the Great League. Now, for every Pokemon, regardless of what their CP is, they also have an appraisal. And an appraisal is showing you the star rating of your Pokemon. So, depending on your star rating can depend on how this Pokemon works. So, the star rating is based on attack, defense, and HP. Now, this Pokemon could have a very, very high attack, so it might be doing more damage to you than you, somebody could be using an Umbreon and is attacking me. And I'm noticing that it's taking out much bigger chunks out of me when they're attacking me than other Umbreons have. But there's also times where they're using an Umbreon and I go to use a charge attack that isn't necessarily super effective against it, but I know it did a decent amount of damage. And then I go and I attack them. But this one, for some reason, it took barely any damage out of it. So that could mean that it had that Umbreon had a higher defense or a higher HP. So I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm talking about. So this is a Pokemon that I caught yesterday. So this was in a gym. Woo. All right. Well, so I bring this up, and then you can see items, favorites, appraisal, transfer. I'm not going to transfer this Pokemon. I go to appraisal. My team leader comes up and asks me if I want to appraise it. I click yes. So you can see I have a 3-star rating on this, and it's maxed out in attack, which means it's 15. It's got a 13, I believe, in defense, and it looks like a 9 in HP. So that means that this Pokemon specifically is maxed out in attack. It has a really good defense, but the HP, it could be better. And you can see the CP is 2896. So that's the specific Pokemon. If I move over to my Vaporeon, I like to name my Pokemon, you can see this one's different. This one is a 2867. It's pretty much already maxed out over here, this little circle thing. And you can see this rating is 15, 15, 9. So this one's pretty good too. It's maxed out in attack and defense, but it doesn't have the highest CP. I mean HP, I'm sorry, HP. So, every Pokemon is different. Every single one has a different amount. So, you saw that my Vaporeon had not the greatest HP, but it was the same HP as my Reshiram, but my Reshiram has a higher CP. So, I'm going to show you something. My Reshiram, you would think, would have a higher HP than my Vaporeon because it's a higher CP. It had the same rating and appraisal for HP as my Vaporeon, so they should be around the same in HP. No. I'm going to show you. HP is right there. My Reshiram is 145. My Vaporeon is 218. So that's my best way of explaining how every Pokemon is different. You've got so much detail on Pokemon. So you've got their weight, their height, if they're male, if they're female, what type they are. So right here you can see Vaporeon is a water type. My Reshiram is dragon/fire. You can see my Rhyperior is ground/rock. So you have a bunch of different ratings of Pokemon, like very, very detailed. Every single Pokemon is different. And then on top of that, you can get Pokemon that are lucky. So for instance, this Pokemon right here that I have is a lucky Pokemon that you get from trading. So I traded a Pokemon for this one with somebody, and when you do that trade, there is like this certain percentage of a chance that it can turn out to be a lucky, and if it is, you both get lucky Pokemon. So that when you get a lucky Pokemon, it means that you're already going to get a fairly high appraisal, which I didn't even know that this was a perfect, honestly. I thought it was just a really high appraisal. When it's perfect, the metal thing is pink because you're maxed out in everything. You're maxed out in attack, defense, and HP. And the Ultra League is up to 2,500. So 25 and under is what you can fight in Ultra League. So you can see this little bar right here tells you how much you can level up your Pokemon. So if there's any room left, I can level him up more if I wanted to. But I'm not going to because he's just under 2,500. And if I have him go over 2,500, I can't use him in Ultra League. I can only use him in Master League. So I keep him just under 2,500 so that I can use him in Ultra League. And if you want to level them up, you do Power Up. So you hit this Power Up button right here, and it asks you if you want to power it up. and then you can, this is also a new feature. You used to have to power it up one by one. Now they have this plus and minus button, so you can click up however many times you want. If I wanted to power him up to the max, he would only go to 2,828. Sorry. Which actually isn't bad for Master League, but it would take me 44,000 Stardust and 92 Aaron Candies, which I don't have. I have 12 Aaron Candies right now, and I only have 13,000 Stardust. I had a crap ton recently, but I used it powering up a bunch of Pokemon to be in the Ultra League. So, that's a little bit about the Pokemon Go. Now, there are people that cheat, like I was saying. Oh, I wanted to show you that too. When I click on my Pokemon, that's another thing that I can show you. You can see the moves that they have down here. So my Reshiram has Dragon Breath and Crunch. You see how it says Gym and Raids and then Trainer Battles? If I click over to Trainer Battles, you can see they changed. Crunch stayed the same, but you'll see that the damage that they do, Dragon Breath does 6 in gyms and raids, but in trainer battles, it does 4. Crunch stays the same, but let's go over to my Vaporeon. I will show you what I was talking about there. My Vaporeon has Water Gun and Aqua Tail, and you can see those are the 3 little dashes right there. Where's my finger? 3 little dashes right there. That means that it's a really quick attack. I get it really, really quickly. And then if I go over to trainer battles, you can see that instead of 3 little dashes, they're now 2 sort of medium dashes. And my Aqua Tail does less damage. So that's what I was talking about. So there are some people that have moves that take a long time to get. So for my Gyarados, for my trainer battle, you can see Outrage is one big bar. That bad boy does 110 damage. It takes me about twice the amount of energy to get Outrage versus Twister. So I could use Twister 2 times for every 1 time I use Outrage. Makes sense because Outrage does 110 damage. If I use Twister and I actually hit them both times, that's only going to do 90 damage. So I do more damage using Outrage, but it takes me a lot longer, and it also makes me more vulnerable because while I'm trying to fill up Outrage, I could be getting hit by something else over and over and over, and that's taking my health down. But Outrage is another one that I've seen too, actually, that people are using Outrage, and I know how long Outrage takes because I use it for a couple of my Pokemon, and they're getting it like this, like so fast, and it just does not make sense. I don't understand how people are getting some of these moves so fast. They have to be cheating. I can't think of any other reason. It just... Niantic should make an option where you can report somebody. So if you suspect somebody's cheating, because some of these things just don't add up. Sometimes it literally is just the way the battle went. I mean, there are times where you go to switch a Pokemon because the Pokemon that you're using isn't super effective against that Pokemon. And same thing with them. Like you're battling each other, but you're just kind of like tiny little bits of health with each hit, and it's just going to take forever. So you go to switch your Pokemon and you just happen to switch it at the same time as them, and remember, you have to wait before you switch it back again. So it just, you have to sit there and you have to deal with whatever comes up. So if you pull out your Umbreon and they pull out a Clefable, you're screwed because Clefable's super strong against Dark. So what are you going to do? I think very strong against Dark, I believe. Sometimes I get them confused because of the seizures that I have. I just mix up information that I know, I just mix it up. But there's nothing you can do because you can't change it. You have to wait for that time to run out. The good thing with Clefable is Clefable generally takes a really long time for their charge attacks to fill up. So, because they're pretty slow Pokemons, they don't have an attack that's like wicked fast, like one after another. Like Scyther is a Pokemon that has an insanely fast attack. Like it's just like boom, 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 boom. And then they have X-Scissor. A lot of people use that, which is a fairly fast charge attack. It doesn't take a lot of energy to fill it up, so they're getting their moves like that. That makes sense. But to use something like Overheat is another one that it takes a lot of energy to fill up Overheat, and I've had people using it like left and right, just hitting me a couple times, and then they're attacking me, and every single time I keep thinking there's no way this is Overheat because there's no way they got it already, and it ends up being Overheat, and it's like, how exactly are these? I mean, Niantic does a really good job at making them this way, because when you have really, really fast attacks, it wouldn't be fair if you were getting these super fast attacks and you were able to hit them 4 times before they got their one attack, and that fast attack did just as much damage as that one that took forever. It wouldn't be fair. So those attacks generally do anywhere between 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 damage, like a little bit lower, where the big long ones do much higher damage, like up into like the hundreds. Now, yeah, see, Earthquake does 140, whereas I have Surf on this Rhyperior. Surf is a 2-bar one, and it stays 2-bar in trainer battles. That one does 65. So if I did 2 of those, it would be more damage than 1 Earthquake. But what if the Pokemon I'm fighting isn't it's not effective against the Pokemon that I'm fighting, so I might want to use Earthquake because that probably would be effective. So there's a lot of science that goes behind this, but Niantic should set up a report option so that when this does happen, when people are changing out their Pokemon faster than they should be able to, or they use a 3rd shield, or they're somehow getting their attacks super fast and you can't figure it out, because even if you do have a fast attack that is fast and it does charge it up faster, it should still take quite a few hits for them to fill up that kind of an attack. And it should be available to people that play Pokemon Go to hit report. And I mean, right when the battle ends, you go away from each other forever. You can't really find that person ever again. So it should be optional in the battle, because I can tell you right now, if I notice cheating, if I notice anything fishy that's just not adding up with anybody that I'm battling, I will happily hit report and end the battle, not even continue battling them, and report them. And then, and it should be pretty specific. You click report, then they ask you, what are you reporting this Pokemon user for? And then there's an option for you think that they're cheating, and then another thing saying, what was it that they were doing that made you think that they were cheating, so that way when people lose, they can't just hit report right before they lose and then say, oh, I'm going to report you because you pissed me off because I lost against you. It should be like an actual set of steps where, what are you reporting this person for? And then you can't just be like, well, I lost against them and I don't think it's fair because I should just win all the time. And there are times where that happens, where, I mean, it is so frustrating when you're battling and you have Pokemon and you're going to win this one based on the Pokemon that they're using, but for some reason there's some weird little fluke where I just had a battle right before I did this video where I was trying to attack and it wasn't letting me. It was freezing and he kept attacking me, and I used a shield and it froze right when I was about to use the shield, and then it wouldn't use it. Oh, that's another one. Another one on how people cheat. Okay, so there's been several times, and this has happened to Jeff as well, where you're battling and you go to use your charged attack and you attack them. They don't use a shield. You can see it says super effective up on top, so you should have taken that Pokemon out, or at least did a significant amount of damage, and you have done no damage whatsoever. Occasionally I can see like a little sliver get taken off. It says super effective and barely any damage was done. And then you notice, you check to see if they used a shield. They didn't even use a shield. Or both of their shields are gone and you go to attack them and it doesn't do anything. Again, I don't know how this is newer. This is a new thing. So I'm wondering if people are starting to figure out a way to not give themselves a third shield, but kind of give themselves an invisible shield. They get hit, but it doesn't actually do any damage. So I don't know how people are doing this because all this is so quick. It just doesn't make any sense. But it's really frustrating. And Niantic, if you're listening, please add in a report option, because these people that are cheating, like I said, they come up just as often as people that aren't cheating. Maybe a little bit less, but too often. More often. I mean, I would assume that I would come across some like people that cheat maybe once every 5 battles or once every 10 battles, but I'm getting them at least 2 times in every 5 battle thing that I'm doing. Occasionally I'll have a string of battles where it was everything added up. Even when I did lose, it added up. But there's just too many times it's happening where I'm battling and it's just like, how are they getting that move so fast? Excuse me, I just hit them with a charged attack and they didn't use a shield and it didn't do any damage. Or how are they switching their Pokemon like this? Like, I'm over here still trying to wait this time out so I can switch my Pokemon, and they just switched their Pokemon twice. So like it's frustrating. And then there will be times where you'll get hit with an attack that isn't effective against your Pokemon, but it still does massive damage, and it's like, how did that happen? Like, you're using a plant Pokemon and somebody hits you with Surf and it knocks out like half of your health. Like, and I just explained that the whole Pokemon DNA thing to you, where they have a different appraisal and each appraisal star rating is in a different category. They could have a really high attack appraisal, and that way they do more damage to you, but still some of this stuff just does not add up. And that's what this video was about. It ended up being extremely long. I apologize. I have a picture down in the corner of my computer right now, and I'm looking at the picture and I don't recognize it at all. I'm gonna have to check that out. What is that? Oh, okay, I know what that is. I was like, is somebody taking pictures with my computer with I'm not like aware of it or something? Anyways, that was my video. I'm sorry it was really, really long. I would really, really love anybody else that plays Pokemon Go who has experienced this kind of thing to comment it and let us know what your experience was, because I would really love to get more people together, like saying like, yeah, that happened to me, or like, yeah, one time I had somebody use an extra shield when they shouldn't have had it, or whatever. That would be awesome if I could get people to comment their own experiences. I know that I'm non-existent on YouTube, so not very many people are even going to come across this video, but it would be cool if people would comment their own experiences in it, because I feel like I'm going crazy. I know it happens to Jeff, but when I complain about something like that, Jeff's always like, calm down. Like, you're just like convincing yourself that they're doing that they're cheating. And it drives me insane because it happens to him too. But he like convinces himself that they're not cheating. It was just some like weird little fluke that happened. But it's like, but for it to happen as often as it does, I mean, come on. Like, there's people out there that are cheating. And there's this huge thing with Niantic. they're always cracking down on people who cheat because it happens so often. People cheat all the time. So I know that people are cheating on it, and they should give some of the power to the people that actually play Pokemon Go by adding a report option when you're in battle. So anyways, that was my video. I appreciate anybody that watched it, especially if you watched it through the whole 45 minutes. And if you guys like the video, leave it a like, subscribe, that would be awesome. I have like no subscribers, but I'm trying to get out there a little bit in YouTube. I don't post a lot of videos, especially during this time, because my kids are at home, and every time I'm doing a video, they're like always trying to be like, that's when they want to bug me the most. But yeah, like, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever. I'm not gonna like badger you to do it or anything like that, but I hope everybody is staying safe, and I hope everybody is healthy, and I can't wait for all this to be over. And be smart and stay clean, washing your hands using hand sanitizer, and wash your hands specifically. Washing your hands is better. The best way to think about it with hand sanitizer versus washing your hands is think of the virus being like grease. When you want to get grease off your hands, what do? You use soap and you use warm water, because that breaks up the grease and gets it off of your hands. Hand sanitizer would help, but it wouldn't fully do the trick. Warm water and soap, that does the trick, because it basically works the same way. The soap and the warm water kind of breaks up the virus and gets it off your hands. But yeah, keep wearing your mask. Don't be one of those jerks that is gonna punch somebody in the face because they're being asked to put on a mask. I mean, it's annoying, but I mean, it's not hurting anybody. Like, I hate wearing a mask too, but still, I get out of the car completely autopilot, and I walk up to the store, about to walk into the door, and I realize, oh my god, I don't have my mask on. I walk back to the car and put the mask on, because it's not to annoy anybody. It is to keep you safe, and it's also to keep other people safe. You have to understand, like, it's not just your life in danger. Don't be a selfish jerk because you don't want to be inconvenienced. Like, nobody else wants to be inconvenienced by you feeling inconvenienced either. Like, they don't want to have to deal with the possibility of getting sick because you want to be a jerk and not put on a mask. So just put on a mask. It helps, okay? And wash those hands and stay safe and stay happy, stay sane. Most of all, stay sane. And hopefully I will see you guys soon. All right, bye everybody.